tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my Falcon, whoopie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. It's like S-O-L-O, S-O, L-O, S-O, L-O. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my Falcon, whoopie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm hot solo. misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No. Oh, yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. It's like SOLO, SOLO. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, solo. Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. I'm picking up my plans to put it on my sign. I'm jumping in my bow. How I should join the alliance. It feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No. Oh, yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. It's like SOLO, SOLO. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Yeah. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. It's like S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O. Living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo, solo. I'm picking up my feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat, time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. It's like S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O. Living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No. And since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together, yeah. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm picking up my plaster, put it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat, time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No. And since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together, yeah. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbonite is gone, I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now, the pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm picking up my plans to put it on my sign. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. How I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat, time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, solo. It's like S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O. Living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover. Solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my falcon, whoopie at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. It's like S-O-L-O, S-O-L-O, S-O-L-O. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my falcon, whoopie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm hot and solo. feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. It's like S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O-S-O-L-O. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm picking up my plaster, putting it on my sign. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so flat time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. Feeling like a star. You can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City. My head's in the sky. I'm solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo. Solo. It's like SOLOSOLO. I'm living my life, ain't got stress no more. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No. And since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Together, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, solo.
Hey everybody, welcome to Escape
Ignore
Reality
what you
Star Wars
just saw.
Talk. It was just you moving closer. I'm your host Caleb,
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
and this week we are going to be talking the book Crimson Climb.
I don't know why I did that.
I mean, technically we have built this book up only because of the last episode of last season, because of how that episode went with the game. I gave you your points back.
You did.
But outside of that, we like to usually start the show by talking what we've been up to this week.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Oh, we're jumping to me.
Yeah.
I started playing Icewind Dale again for the.
Oh yeah,
Which of course we've been also doing we didn't do Baldur's Gate this last week.
No.
And we also didn't play the Fallout game. We kind of just hung out.
Yeah, it was a hangout night.
It was a hangout night. We watched Always Sunny. Mac's dad is. I love Luther so much. For those who watch Always Sunny, Luther is one of my favorite characters. Anytime he's on the screen,
He's a good man. A bit intense.
He's intense, but he's just passionate. He's just a passionate guy who loves life and just wants to be out of prison. He just wants to live his life. Meanwhile, his son and his fuck up of a friend mess that up. I know we're not even a minute in, but let's go. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're adult content.
Yep.
Not that kind of adult content. I realized what I said for a second there. But yeah, we watched the episode where where Charlie and Mac fake their death.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite episodes, and it's a continuation of the Mac and Charlie just fuck up Dee's cars.
Really, the beginning of those, because I think
I think we've seen one other episode.
We've seen one.
So this is where it becomes like this is where the joke really gets like
These cars are always destroyed, much like how.
Go ahead.
It's like how Charlie can't read.
Yeah.
Can't read or write.
Yeah, it starts off with a simple premise and it becomes an ongoing joke. Because I think the first time, because we did the They Left Philly episode, I think, or where they tried to leave Philly, but they just couldn't. Because either they stopped at the grocery, like at the local shop.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's the one where they rented the hit, like the back, the hitch, and then they tried to, they put a couch into, like, it was one of those, like, you know how, like, you can get the U-Haul extension, like, and then you have, like, the little hat, like, the trunks, the extra space for traveling. Yeah. They rent one of those, and so they're like, that way they can all go together, because they all can't fit in Dee's car, which they were going to take Dee's car without Dee coming with them on the trip, which is very much them. Yeah. Of like, oh no, we weren't planning to invite you. We were just going to take your car because it's a nice car.
Stop stealing my car, said Dee.
And
steal your own car.
And so they get one of those back U-Haul like things, and they basically buy a wicker couch to put in it to sit in. They get like a grill to like make food in the back. Which, of course, immediately backfires when they realize, oh, wait, the smoke is going to knock us out, which it did. And then they were like, okay, well, now we'll just put, like, some blocks to hold the back open up a little bit, and we'll tape it so that way they'll stay open. And it's one of those, like, mini, like, camping grills where it's, like, about as tall as this book standing. You know which I'm talking about, where they're, like, kind of lifted?
Yeah.
And... of course, what does it do? It rolls right under the opening and slides out. And they're like, God damn it, I wanted some hot dogs. And so, yeah, that's I thought that was the start of the joke, but maybe this is the episode that starts that joke.
Oh, God.
And so, anyways, we watched that. We found out about another role-playing game rule set that we want to use now, which if you're a fan of the show, it will be no surprise. It's a Highlander rule set. The Highlander rule set, though, is very focused on specifically the first movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a licensing thing or if that's just a continuation of the we ignore everything outside the first movie that some fans have. I personally take it as we just ignore the second film, which you view as a masterpiece.
I swear to God it is. I'll fight people on that one. That movie's a goddamn masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece in how bad it is. I'll give it that.
I enjoy it because it actually points out the stupid things that people do in the narrative.
Not always, but yeah.
If you acknowledge it, to me, I'm like... it's one of those things where, like, the minion will point out, like, why didn't we just do it this way?
Oh, like in the case of the bad guy, where his whole plot is, we're gonna go after Connor McLeod, and we're gonna send you guys to go kill him. It's like... but he doesn't care about coming back to fuck with us. He's going to die.
Yeah.
He's gonna die an old man. That's what he wants.
Yeah. If we wait like a week, we'll be good.
No, we have to go out actively mess with him. We have to actively piss him off.
Yeah.
We have to kick that hornet's nest. But yeah, so I might do a one-shot because we discussed the possibilities of that. I feel like that would be a fun thing down the line. Speaking of D&D, we played some last night. Y'all got into a very interesting fight. I'm not going to spoil it.
To call it a fight would give us too much credit.
Y'all got your asses handed to you, though, by it. To be fair. Correction, two of you got
two
your...
of them.
Two out of...
Admittedly...
so that's half the crew.
Admittedly, I didn't cheat, but I was realizing, like, hey, maybe I should... not be standing where I'm standing, so I just moved back a little bit.
I don't consider it cheating. You are paying attention to the environment that I give you, and you notice there is something going wrong in the environment. I should probably not be where I am.
Yeah.
If any of the others had also done the same, I would have considered that fair game. You were the only one who did, though.
I'm like, what's up with Seth? Is this the only one who pays attention to where people are on the board?
And then, but yeah, so y'all got into an interesting fight, quote unquote. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's going to be a great video. I already finished editing it this morning, so I just need to post it for the Patreon, and then it's all set. So I'll probably do that after we get off here. And then, Icewind Dale. So
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing Icewind Dale because I decided to go back and play some of the older Infinity Engine games again. There's now officially a mod, because there's been a mod that's been in the works for a while. Because Icewind Dale 2 never got its enhanced edition. Icewind Dale 1, Planescape Torment, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, they all got enhanced editions. Even Neverwinter Nights 1, which is not considered part of that, exactly part of that series, but is pretty much considered part of that series of games, because it's not on the Infinity Engine, but it's on the Aurora Engine. It's the first of the BioWare Aurora Engine games, I think. Or Odyssey, it's one of those. No, Aurora, because Odyssey is Knights of the Republic's engine. Or the other way around, correct me if I'm wrong. That's up to you guys in the comments.
We stopped and got snacks earlier, so that's what.
Yeah, we got some snacks because I was having the shaky shakes. And so, Icewind Dale, though, I decided to play that because I'm going in chronological order of games, not release order. And so, plus we're already playing Baldur's Gate, so if I was doing release order, I'd be stuck on Baldur's Gate with you and Drew until we were done with that. And we'll probably play Icewind Dale together as well once we get through Baldur's Gate, but I think we're going to do all 3 Baldur's Gate games together first.
I think the best thing that happened, right, that you showed me, is how much it costs.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to lead up to. So, in Icewind Dale, it is more combat-centric. It is less story-heavy, whereas Baldur's Gate is definitely story. Icewind Dale is more of a dungeon crawler with story elements. Like, they give you as much of a baseline story where they're like, here's the most basic story we can give you for explaining why you're dungeon crawling. And now go dungeon crawl. And unlike Baldur's Gate, where you just have the one main character and then a party of characters that you meet along the way, Icewind Dale is you build your party completely at the start. And there is no, side companions that you meet along the way. You build your party and you play. So you have your party of 6, because in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and in the Infinity Engine games, it's 6. Baldur's Gate 3, they switched it to 4, because that's the more common number nowadays for RPGs. And it keeps easy balancing on the game design end. So, anyways, Icewind Dale, easier to level up. Already levels 4 to 5 right now for all 6 of them, and some of them are multi-class. So that's I'm not counting 4 to 5 for every class that they have. More 4 to 5 to what level they've hit for at least one of them. So we've all leveled up a few times at this point, and we're only in chapter 1, which says a lot because we're in chapter 2. We're in chapter 2 in Baldur's Gate, and we're still level 1. But I'd say Baldur's Gate 1 is easier combat. I'd say the combat's easier. I'd say Icewind Dale has a little bit harder combat, although I think I'm doing well. Although I'm not doing as good as I could be, because only one of my characters is really doing ranged as an archer. I actually just leveled up on one of them to actually be able to, because you pick your proficiencies as you level up in this one. In 2nd edition, although this is almost hitting 3.5 with Icewind Dale. In fact, they give you, in the enhanced edition, they give you the options to add 3rd edition rules, use 3rd edition sneak attack rules instead of 2nd edition. That's an optional rule. I'll say the one trick that has been helping me that I recently learned, and this is after years of playing these games. You can set so many auto pause options in the menu. You can select auto pause for when you find an enemy. You can set auto pause for at the end of every round of your character's actions. You can set auto pause for when you kill an enemy. You can set auto pause for when you use magic. You can set auto pause for when you, and these are optional settings, so you can select which ones you want. So you don't go select all auto pause. You can select all, but you'd have to do them individually. They're all individual rules, so you customize it to what you want to auto pause. I have most of them auto paused, and man, it's making combat so simple. It makes it pretty much a turn-based game at that point. There's a lot of pausing, because when you read it, it says auto pause at the end of every round, and you would think, oh, that means everybody takes their turn. No, it means every turn is what it really means. So after this character goes, pause. After this character goes, pause. And that does make it easier to like start like planning things. Like say, there's also an auto pause for when somebody gets hit, and for when they take a critical injury. Two different ones. So getting hit versus a critical injury both have their own auto pause separately. So useful, because then it's just like, oh, you're hurting, go back there, and you go heal them. Or I can go into the pause menu and have them drink a potion real quick if I have a potion in stock. So here's where things get tough. Because it's more combat centric, that means I'm going into a lot more fights. That's why we're leveling up faster. It's also why, and I also think this is a game that goes to 20, not to 10, or like the halfway, or 15 rather, which is what I think Baldur's Gate 1 does, because I think it does the halfway point. So it's 15, and then 2 you can hit level 30, because in Baldur's Gate it's level 30. I think Icewind Dale is also potentially level 30, because it's still that like, where it's almost 2nd edition, almost 3rd edition. I have to look at the numbers. There's probably a wiki that will show me. I just have to look it up, because I know Icewind Dale has its own wiki. I know Baldur's Gate has its own wiki.
You know, it would be nice if Grim Hollow had its wiki so we could figure out when things happen.
That would be less of a wiki. That'd be more of a, give me a book that says this. Because it's not even in the books. It's useless to have a wiki if it's not in the books. But yeah, so... Anyways, one of my character dies... And because I've been doing good. I've been doing quick saves, very much to how we were doing in our current Baldur's Gate 1 run, where pretty much every combat I do a quick save. I forget sometimes, and this was a case where I'd forgotten to do one recently. Like I'd probably only have lost 5 minutes realistically, but I was like, it's only 100 gold. I can go back to town and get them resurrected. Because in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, we learned I think we talked about this last week. Surprisingly, only 100 gold to resurrect somebody, which is really cheap, since in 5th edition it is it's much more expensive. It's either like 400 or 500. It's up there. It's a few hundred.
So, in 5th edition, if you've got the body and it's intact, for
a full resurrection, like full health, because that's what they do in Baldur's Gate, and that's what they do in Icewind Dale. So a true resurrection, pretty much. Because in Baldur's Gate 1, it resurrected you with full health, I think.
No, it did not.
Oh, it did not.
Got me 1 health.
Oh. Icewind Dale, it does full health. They don't have a partial, which is probably... That actually might explain why it's so expensive.
Yeah. Because it's...
Because in Icewind Dale, I learned, it is 600 gold.
Yeah. In 5th edition, to be resurrected with, like, 1 health, it costs... technically a diamond worth 300 gold, but most people are just like 300 gold for simplicity. Yeah,
because if you have 300 gold, most churches would probably be fine with that, rather than having to make you give them a diamond. Realistically speaking. But yeah.
There's one priest that's like, no, you have to pay me in diamonds.
But yeah, the Church of Ilmater, I feel like ripped me off, though, still.
How so?
600 gold!
They're like... You better pay up or your friend's staying dead.
Yeah, because that was the Church of Ilmater that in Icewind Dale, where I was at. The one we resurrected you at was a Church of Helm. Yeah, Helm. Yeah, which was important because that was Drew's god. Because Drew is playing a cleric, and he is a Helm cleric. So we pointed that out when we went there. I was like, oh, this is Drew's church. But yeah, but then you got Ilmater. So out of the good gods, you got Helm, you got Lathander, you got Ilmater. Ilmater, I feel like, is sketchy being a good god, though, personally. Because he's the god of, like, the whole thing is pain, right?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Yes, but no. I know it's more complicated than that. But, like, on the front of it, it feels very sketchy. Like, if you...
Pain isn't go out and inflict it on others.
No, it's
like
yourself.
The relieving of the pain of others by, like, understanding and accepting that.
And also carrying the pain of someone else onto yourself and inflicting it onto yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets sketchy for me. Not a lot of religions say, "Hey, go ahead and hurt yourself to make other people feel better." It's an oversimplification.
It's a bit of an oversimplification, but yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
But if you were in the world of Forgotten Realms and you were telling me about Ilmater, if this was like basic, like I've never heard of Ilmater before, I go into your church and I try to learn what's going on. That's how I'm gonna walk out thinking. if we're being honest.
We'll do a deep dive on Ilmater next episode.
Ilmater.
I will look into this and get more.
I mean, I know it's more in depth than that, but it is it's the most sketchy of the good gods.
This is one of those things where I think me and Andrew were discussing it the other day, where I'm like, either me and my mom, or me and Andrew. I was like, if you take like things literally in some religions, you'd think they were crazy. Like the whole.
It's that. It is that.
Like by the way, the Christians are nuts. They killed.
But I mean,
their God.
I think the thing is though. The difference is, we have examples in D&D of them that the people who believe in Ilmater do take it literally, all the time, which just proves my point.
Sorry, I didn't want.
And these are the faithful of Ilmater. Yeah. These aren't like stranger.
Yeah, but they're not like typically going out and just.
And they're not trying to hurt you because, like you said, they self-inflict. I just feel bad for them because
They don't feel bad.
No, they feel
they feel bad, but it's okay.
They're happy to feel bad, which very much feels like cult behavior to me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They're not hurting anyone as long as This is like me being like, I don't mind as long as you keep it over there.
But I don't like the idea that your faith is hurting you, if that makes sense. I don't feel like your faith should hurt you in the process of you having faith. If that makes sense. Your faith should not hurt anybody, realistically speaking, but...
I don't know how to tell you this, man, but I don't have a lot of faith in anything.
But you're not hurting yourself or anybody. Except for in video games.
Except for in video games, but that's different.
That's not real life.
That's not real life. They're numbers.
Until the machines rise up and say otherwise. Just like in Fallout. Or Detroit.
Should have killed me when you have the chance.
That is one of the topics we talked about, because you were playing Fallout 4 when I came over. And so we talked about the synths and...
I've come to the conclusion that, like, the whole, you might be a synth thing, or how they're used, like, by the narrative. And I'm like, I don't care. That's the end conclusion I've come to.
Yeah, like, for the most part, they're not... Synths themselves are not actively trying to replace people.
Yeah.
It's the institution that's trying to do it. So, as long as a synth is not actively trying to do something on its own volition, the synth isn't bad. Just like a human. If a human is not actively trying to hurt somebody, they're not probably a bad...
The thing is, I think it's like, for the institutes, the synths, it's kind of like, I was thinking about this. I'm like, this is just the Blade Runner question, except done slightly worse.
Sorry, so last time I checked in with you was Tuesday about it. Currently, this is a Minuteman run, right?
Currently. I've been on the Pridwin now because they've showed up.
Because basically you're going to choose between the 4 factions by the end of it. I mean, you know enough, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. You have to make a choice between the 4 factions, which I feel like is the one really extreme failing of Fallout 4, because the other ones have kind of been very much like you can play both sides pretty much until the end of their games. Whereas 4, it's like, no, there's a hard moment. You have to... So, like, you have to choose between the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, the Minutemen, and then the Institute. And so...
I've not met the Railroad yet.
And then, I've been watching, keeping in Fallout, I've been watching a lot of Fallout YouTubers, or Bethesda YouTubers, I guess. Like, I've been watching Juve, who is fun to watch. It's basically most of what I'm watching out of those Bethesda YouTubers are people who are breaking the game by doing something different than how the game is meant to be played. Like Juve, I watched one where he has somebody that makes mods for him whenever he comes up with an idea, and this one was so in 4 you have the creation tools where you can like build your city and all that, or your civilization or whatever you want to call it, and settlement. That's the word they use.
Build your own civilization.
I was trying to think of the word they use. Settlement is the word they use. It's basically a town.
Yeah.
And so one of those tools that he had this modder make was an actual square block, like just a where it's just the square, but like with the center space, but you can step on them and walk on them.
Yeah.
And so what it does is every time you kill something, you get a square. So that's how you get your resources to make the square. So his challenge was that he couldn't walk anywhere that he didn't place a square. And anytime he was off the squares for every 2 seconds, he would have to gift a sub to his Twitch stream, to his Twitch chat. And so
that reminds me, next week I'll bring the kill count for how my run is going.
So he got creative with it. He was like, well, I can find the raiders that are there that are near, like in between the first settlement that you find, and then like although once you're inside a building, that doesn't count. He can walk freely inside because the squares raised elevation a bit, so he would be hitting the ceiling and wouldn't be able to walk anywhere if he did that. So it's only outside but once he's outside, he has to exit at a point where he's stepping on on a square. And so he would reset the days and pretty much Groundhog's Day his way through by killing the same things over and over. Eventually, he created one of those settlement beacons where it calls settlers to your settlement, and he would trade with them, get their stuff, and then kill them.
Oh.
So that way he could get some free stuff.
I say that like that's an unethical thing to do. Meanwhile, I'm only taking care of the people I've sent to Sanctuary because I don't care about anywhere else.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucked up.
But we're an hour in.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk some Star Wars news because there's a couple things to talk about. And so, off the bat, Mandalorian Season 3 it won for Outstanding Stunt Performance Emmy. Which makes sense. I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like the stunts are some of the best stuff for Mandalorian. And, like, I mean, just for the guy who's... The 2 people that are in the suit for Mandalorian, for Din, I mean, you've got a Wayne, and then you've got, I forget the other guy, but the one who actually does the martial arts, because Brandon Wayne, John Wayne's descendant, he does the more gunslinging sides of it, and then you've got somebody that does the more martial combat side of it. And
so it takes 3 men to create Din Djarin.
Din Djarin is so epic that it takes 3 men to actually represent him.
Yep.
Other stuff, other ones that they were nominated for but didn't get were Outstanding Cinematography for a half-hour series, which Atlanta won. That makes sense.
Yeah, that checks out.
Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes, which House of the Dragon got. That one, surprise.
Not surprised by that.
Outstanding Period and or Character Hairstyling, Queen Charlotte. I haven't watched that one, but
I don't know who that is.
Outstanding Period and or Character Makeup, non-prosthetic. So like non-prosthetic makeup. That was won by The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Good show. I have not watched the recent seasons. I've only seen the first couple, but I do like it. It's an Amazon show. Outstanding Sound Editing for a half-hour series was won by The Bear. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a half-hour series, The Bear again. And then Outstanding Visual Effects, The Last of Us.
Okay.
So, I'm not mad with any of these wins, and that Mando didn't, clear, which that makes sense. I mean, shows like The Mandalorian don't clear for a lot of things anyways. They do get nominated for these type of things, though. They did not, the other one they didn't, The other one they didn't get this year was stunt coordination. While they got the stunt performance, they didn't get stunt coordination, which they had won in, according to this article I'm looking at Star Wars Newsnet. They had won it in previous years, but this year it was taken by the boys. So,
All right.
once again, I'm fine. Mando got something out of it, and honestly, even if it didn't, it was going against so many like
Others that it's like any of them.
I feel like most good award shows, if you can look at the list and go, yeah, I could see any of these winning, that's a good award show, and I think it's a fair competition at that point. And really, if you get fanboy behavior and you're mad because it didn't win in this, go outside.
Go outside.
Touch some grass.
All right, yeah, that's good.
I mean, for this one, they were up against FBI Most Wanted and Stranger Things Season 4.
Yeah.
So I think
it's fair.
I think it did well. It held its own. I have not watched FBI Most Wanted, but I would assume there's a lot of stunt performance there. And I did watch Stranger Things Season 4, and I think you've probably seen it in passing just because I know Tori and them, like, they marathoned it when Season 4 came out.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Keeping in the world of Mandalorian, we got some updates officially from StarWars.com, and that is that the Mandalorian Grogu movie, which is the working title right now, is going into production this year. So we'll probably be looking at, if it's going into production this year, that means they have already, so it depends on if they're using the term production to mean that they're filming, or if that means they're going to start writing. Because that could go either way, because there's pre-production, which is like real writing, and then production is usually the filming process. And then you got your post-production, which is editing. Hello, Anubis.
Hello.
Sorry, we've been really into like what we're talking about.
Mando and Grogu.
And so,
and Mando.
but similar to what we were talking about before, though, where we talked about, we were on the car and we were talking about the difference between like the actual literal definition and then like the English definition.
No,
or,
I was like, English is a complicated language in that sometimes words
have multiple
meanings.
And so, in the case of production, sometimes they mean actual, like, filming. Although, and then other times they mean just the whole process. So even pre-production and post-production. I think they mean the whole process because generally when they're talking about filming, generally news sites like Star Wars Newsnet, they will say filming in 2024 rather than production in 2024 is what they'll say. So I think they're starting to write this year, which means more than likely we will see it probably in 2026, depending how quickly they get a script and when they start filming. That's really the part that's gonna decide when we might see this movie. It might be 2025. Unlikely though. 2026 is probably the earliest that we could see this film. And then the other good news with that announcement, because this was all StarWars.com announcing it, and it's being directed by Dave Filoni, for those wondering, and it's being co-written between Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, so that makes sense because they've been working on the Mandalorian show together from the start. Makes sense that for the movie, they would be working together on the script. And then Ahsoka Season 2, officially confirmed, officially happening, announced. I don't think we got a... Yeah, it just says in the works, so we didn't get a... We don't have a similar... It's not like Mandalorian Grogu where they're saying a date that they're starting production.
I remember, like, when we first finished up Ahsoka, I'm like, I don't know what to do, what they're gonna do with this.
Well, because it's a show that's really good.
Yeah.
But its weak spot is where the story ends. And unless you continue that story, which we knew the movie was happening, but we didn't know at the time Ahsoka Season 2 was happening.
Yeah.
Like, it was rumored, but there was no confirmation. So, I felt without a Season 2, Ahsoka Season 1 has a weak ending, to a degree. It's a cathartic ending. There's a lot of good stuff that's like, hey, Ezra's home. That's an ending that I felt, yeah, I'm happy with that. And even Dave Filoni said if they didn't get season 2, he got Ezra home. He's happy. But I feel like there's more to the story. And now we're going to get that. The real question now, with season 2 happening, is the Ray Stevenson of it all.
Yeah.
But they got time to figure that out.
Yep.
Because, once again, they didn't give a date for when production starts. They just said it's in the works. Which could literally mean they're spitballing ideas right now. It means they're not writing a script. They're literally just talking about it and trying to figure out what they want to do with it.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah. It probably will. I wasn't disappointed with season 1, so season 2 will probably be the same. And probably even improve. Keeping what shows kind of being announced. This one, I guess, only half counts. It's the rest of season 1 for Young Jedi Adventures. The final few episodes. Because they've been kind of, like, bulk releasing the episodes.
Yeah.
So, like, when we did our review, I thought that was it. Because they released so many and, like, they were like, that's... It felt like the end of season 1. But then they were like, oh no, that was just half of the season.
What?
And then they've been, like, bulk releasing the other episodes.
Oh, man.
And so, like, now there have been episodes that have really tied into Phase 1 and proved, like, because originally we didn't know when it takes place. But Phase 1 has kind of been shown off, like, it's pre-Phase 1. Because we have Loden in some episodes along with, I just blanked.
Bell?
Yeah, thank you. Bell and Ember. Loden and Bell and Ember are in an episode. And we see Starlight Beacon at some point, so... Pre-Phase 1, for the most part. Definitely pre-Phase... Like, the end of Phase 1. And so... I'm curious where the rest of Season 1 will take us, because there's still, like, a few more episodes left. Yeah. And they're coming out, officially, this is the announcement, this is the news part. Coming out on the 14th of February. So...
my least favorite holiday.
In a month. And so, with that, you know what that means. It's been added to the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll do a Season 1 Part 2 for the podcast to talk about it. We'll do a week after the episodes air. But, yeah, we'll talk about them.
Oh, man.
Going outside the... Well, kind of keeping in the realm of Disney+. So, every year, Disney does a thing called D23, which is where they announce a bunch of stuff and they say, here's the slate for movies that we're thinking of, and it's Disney as a whole.
All right.
Now, as Star Wars fans, we, of course, watch it for the Star Wars stuff, but of course they also talk Marvel and stuff, but they do announce Star Wars projects during it. Well, this year, parts of D23 will be streamed to Disney+. So, and that's going to be August 9th, 10th, and 11th. It's going to be that weekend. So, it'll be... I'm curious. I mean, I feel like for the most part, we know the stuff that's coming out this year, because and so I'm looking at Star Wars Newsnet right now and what they're predicting. And they're thinking that we'll probably get... well, no, they're talking about stuff we've gotten before. So, with the stuff they mentioned, because they're like, oh yeah, before we've gotten the sizzle reel for Rise of Skywalker, we've gotten a trailer for Mando back then, we got the first teaser for Mando Season 3, we've gotten the trailer for Andor previously, and we've gotten the Bad Batch Season 3 confirmation, as well as Tales of the Jedi confirmation then. So what, I mean, this year the things I think to spotlight are we'll probably get an actual trailer for Skeleton Crew. Because we haven't really seen anything about Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew's been quiet.
Like, we know it's this year, so we have to have a trailer soon. It's probably going to be the end of this year. I think that's going to be the end of year project.
Alright.
That would be my guess. I mean...
We'll see, ultimately, at the end of it all.
It might be you know what? Actually, Skeleton Crew's probably going to be out by then. Let me look. Let me get a frame of reference here. Because we know Skeleton Crew's this year, and we know the Acolytes this year?
Yeah.
So, those are the two that we know for sure. I think Bad Batch, the final season, Season 3, is this year. And then Tales of the Jedi Season 2 is next. I think that one got held off. And Andor got held off as well, Andor Season 2. And so, I'm looking at a list right now, so let's see. Upcoming. Yeah, Acolyte's happening first, so I feel like Acolyte will be our summer one.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna get an Acolyte one. We'll probably get a trailer next month, this month or next month, pretty soon. Maybe March at the latest, if they really wanted to hold off a trailer. But I think we're gonna get a trailer soon for Acolyte, which means by the time D23 is happening, Acolyte will already either started airing, have aired, or be currently airing.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna have already happened because that's August. And I think either if it hasn't happened yet, then it's gonna happen like within the next week after that. So by then we'll have already seen a trailer at least. So I don't think D23 is bringing in a trailer for Acolyte. Skeleton Crew then is probably a November or December release, similar to like Mando being a late November, early December type of show. And since we're not getting Mando this year, that would be my guess. And then, like, I'm trying to think what other shows.
I think we're good.
Are we not getting... But yeah, and then we're getting Bad Batch, which might... That might be actually the... Well... That might be the summer release. That might be a May.
Maybe.
Or
we'll see.
Yeah. And of course we got Young Jedi Adventures next month being finished up. So, and they'll probably start season 2 like either late this year or early next year. I don't like the way they're releasing that show. By the way, just either if you're gonna do bulk episodes, just do the whole show. If you're not going to do bulk episodes, do weekly releases. Don't do this. We're going to bulk some of these episodes, and then we're going to bulk some of these other episodes. Just release them. Trying to think. Andor Season 2 was originally going to be August this year, but that's got moved. Unless that's an update to that, but I don't think so. No. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's everything.
All right.
So, and then Tales of the Jedi. Actually, hold on. What do we know about what's going on with that? Okay, we just know it's been renewed. We don't have a date. So, yeah. So that's what's going on with the shows and what what I'm thinking they'll do. They'll probably show some Andor, maybe a sizzle, because more than likely they're planning to. I think they really want that one to be next year. Because it was supposed to be this year, so I think they're going to shoot for next year to have it done. So they'll probably have a sizzle reel or maybe even our first trailer for it by then. We'll probably have some Tales of the Jedi Season 2 news, because that's probably next year as well. If it's not like a surprise launch this year, because sometimes Disney Plus has done surprise launches, so which throws me off all the time, especially when they're like part of a high property. Like they did that with What If Season 2. Like, they just were like, hey, here we go. And it's just like, why was there no, like, announcement? Why are you doing, like, I learned from an ad on TikTok that you guys dropped Season 2. So, yeah. That's my, we'll probably not get anything for Mando Season 4 since they're doing the movie.
Probably not. I might be busy.
I think the movie's going to happen first and then Season 4 of Mando. Moving outside of television, going into games.
Timeline Twist.
Yeah, we got a new card game coming out. It's a cooperative card game, Timeline Twist. It is from Asmodee and Zygomatic. Thank you. Let's see, I'm kind of skimming. It's going to hit stores next month, so February. It's a Star Wars themed version of Timeline Twist because it's a card game that already exists. So it's just.
I was reminded of something while we were scrolling through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of our favorite RPG for Star Wars. Yeah, and how they don't do anything for it now.
Yeah,
Um,
I miss it.
last piece of news for this week. Phantom Menace. We talked about how they were putting the Phantom Menace PlayStation 1 game to PlayStation Plus. So it is still going to PlayStation Plus Premium. It is actually going to be available on the 16th of this month, so in 3 days. It will be on their premium tier, so that's the one where you get the PS1, PS2, and PSP games, as well as PS3 cloud streaming games. So that I think that's a good way to, like, for Sony to kind of be like, hey, here's some classic games that you, because I think games like this are like nostalgic to people. I didn't play this particular one. It was one of the few I didn't do a lot of the movie tie-in Star Wars games. I did a lot more of the only real movie I only played 2 out of the prequel tie-in games, and it was the Attack of the Clones on Game Boy Advance. Hated it. It was just really hard. It's not a bad game. It was just really hard. And then the Revenge of the Sith on Game Boy, which was the not as popular way to play Revenge of the Sith. Everybody liked the PS2 version. But I liked the Game Boy Advance. It had kind of its own art style. It went away from the realistic art style, where it looked more like an anime. And it was kind of fun. It was a fun game. Also a little bit difficult, but not as difficult as Attack of the Clones was. So that's everything in news.
Yeah.
So let's get
Book time?
into today's topic. Yeah, let's get into Crimson Climb. Spoiler warning now.
Yep.
We are going to go over
Spoil
some stuff.
Fuck out of this book.
So if you have not read this book,
Now's your time.
now,
to leave.
yeah, go ahead and head out.
read it.
You can come back. The VOD will be up.
Yeah.
So
Alternatively, if you don't care about spoilers,
stick around. Yeah, if you don't care, stick around. So I already read this because I got an early review copy. I read it ahead of time, like when it came out in October.
Yep.
So I just want to hear your thoughts because the internet already has my thoughts. I can repeat them afterwards, but I want to hear yours first.
For me, there's a couple of things. The first of which is I think I'd have enjoyed this book if I didn't have to read it in 3 days, which is mostly my fault. I could have asked for the book as soon as we were done, since you told me we were going to be doing it this week.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I don't know. There are times in the book where I'm like, this is an unnecessary level of planning for these things.
Oh, for like the heist stuff. Because there's a couple small heist things they do.
The heists are actually fine. I suppose I should. Planning is not the right word.
Mm-hmm.
It's the It's the politicking of how the gangs work.
But that's just also any crime story.
Yeah. However, there are times when I'm like, all right, Qi'ra, or it's another character, and I'm like, you are wasting your time here.
Okay, I'm gonna just jump right into it.
Go on, ask the question.
Should this have been a young adult novel, or would you have preferred it as an adult novel?
I'm not really sure, because there are times when I'm like, okay, dick move.
Personally, part of my reasons is knowing...
There is a very nasty implication.
There's a very nasty implication that Solo, the movie, gives us.
Mm-hmm.
That is very much it's whitewashed in this.
Yeah.
They very much gloss over it.
Yeah.
And they in fact make it to where the character that is implicated with that stuff does not get involved with that stuff at all in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Dryden Voss.
Yeah.
Dryden Voss is very much whitewashed, and they very much quickly clean up his behavior in this book, where he is abusive still. He is very much
he's a huge jerk.
He's still very much an emotionally abusive asshole.
For me it's the in terms of thank you for reminding me that you're a son of a bitch. It's the constant pressing on the bruises for me. I'm like, you already proved your point, asshole.
Which just makes you happy when Qi'ra kills him in the movie.
I was originally thinking, last night, I was like, I should go and watch the Solo movie, because maybe this will provide a lot of context for it.
And give you some catharsis.
Yeah. But also, can I be honest? I'm mad. Qi'ra, like, if she wasn't in the setting and stories that she was in, I would really like her as a protagonist. The problem is, I have the context from everything else, so I know that it doesn't matter.
I think, though, even with that context, though, she is still a good protagonist, and I think...
She is. That's why I'm upset.
And I think, even with that context, she's great. And she, I think, while she politics very well, which is why she rises through the ranks in this book, it is because of her politicking and her ability to actually talk to people. Well, not at first.
Yeah, she learns that over the
She learns, because that's like one of her... That's one of the things that the book starts off as a weakness for her, is that she is not great at that. That was what Han was there for. She was the one because... So, before her and Han split, because it does go into some of those details, but the book takes place... It's pretty much in that gap between after they get separated at the spaceport and then when they meet again. That's what this book is basically about. Although it doesn't end directly with them meeting again. It still has, like, some gap time between them. Probably still, like, a couple years before they... a year or so before they'd meet again. And so, like... But it does a great job of explaining that they were together, not only because they liked each other, although Han, very innocent at the time, that was his main reason, was he actually did care about her that way. For her, though, it was also maneuvering.
Yeah.
Because she knew the rules. Han didn't really play by those rules, but he was great at talking his way out of shit.
Yep.
And so that's why she kept him around, because he could talk his way out of shit that she couldn't. In fact, we see...
There's a great point where she's like, you know, I keep a bunch of secrets and everything, whereas Han just fucking, if he lied, he would tell you he was lying. She's like, it's the, like...
I think that's also something...
Calculated versus open kind of deal.
And I think that's also something Han gets better at as well. Han gets better at bluffing.
Yeah.
Because he's not a bluffer. At least not at the start. And even, like... And he's not really in this book, but we're talking, like, about it anyways, because it's relevant. And I think the Solo movie shows that he's not great at bluffing. But then we see by the time of the original trilogy, he's improved.
Yeah. Greatly improved.
Greatly improved, yeah.
Because he didn't have a fucking choice.
But he still has his moments of not being great at it, like with the Death Star scene where he's...
Hi, how are you?
Boring
conversation anyway.
So, like, we still see moments of that Han where he's not good at that.
That's still to this day, one of my favorite fucking moments. Because he shoots it for no reason. It's like you could have just turned it off, but the shooting it is what makes that scene even better.
It solidifies
it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I think it solidifies it into, like, history.
Memory,
into memory and history of people talking about it.
Also, like, man, Sarah Verde.
I like all the characters. I pretty much like all the side characters introduced in this book that aren't, like, that we don't already know about. Like, we know about Maggie or Margot, rather, because we know Margot from the comics and from Solo, and, like, we already know that she's around. But, like, seeing the other characters that are part of this, the Crimson Dawn and all that, I feel like were great. These were great additions. And then, you know, the betrayals and the...
Yeah. Sarah Verde got it pretty bad.
But also,
I'm
kind
not
of...
mad at it.
I was going to say, kind of deservedly.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
So, Sarah Verde, let's kind of explain, is a rival to Qi'ra throughout the book. And is somebody that also kind of wants to be pretty close up on the ranks.
Yeah.
And so the way they meet is that she's undercover as an Imperial officer who is, like, basically keeping an eye out for the shipment that they're about to steal from the Empire. Qi'ra has also been sent to get this shipment. But also, at the same... Proxima actually wants her and her crew to die.
Yeah.
Is really what Proxima's planning.
Oh no, there's too many mouths to feed. Oh no.
Because, so politically, after Han left, let's kind of talk about that first before we get back to what Sarah Verde got into.
Qi'ra gets shit list.
Yeah, so Qi'ra basically gets I can't punish Han, so I'm punishing you.
Yeah.
And so she gets her jacket taken, And basically, she loses anything that's considered her property
Yeah.
because it's not. It's Proxima's property, at least according to the gang rules. And so Proxima's like, it goes to whoever wants it.
Yeah.
And one of her early rivals, who is part of Proxima's worms,
Emma. I think.
Emma, yeah, she takes the jacket and uses this as basically an
Yeah.
excuse to start rising up in the ranks. And of course, Qi'ra doesn't like that because she's like, "Yeah, no, you suck. You're also not a good leader."
Yeah.
And there's people within the White Worms that see that. They're like, "Oh no, it would have been better if Qi'ra stayed in charge."
Yeah.
But they can't say anything because you gotta politic.
I remember another thing throughout this book while I was talking with Andrew about it, because I was like 150 pages in, and I'm like, in the past 150 pages, I've seen Qi'ra just get beaten on for like no reason 5 separate times. And I'm like, to be honest, it's kind of losing the effect of, oh no, this is a horrible situation, to being like,
it does
well,
become mentally exhausting.
Yeah, it's more like, really? We're doing this again.
And so
I stopped caring a little bit.
I think it does get less often though
Yeah.
once we get past, because the book is essentially in 3 parts.
Yeah.
And the first part is her White Worm stuff, which I thought they were going to glance over that a lot faster than they did, but it was there
That's
for a
like
minute.
a third of the book.
And so we get through that part where she gets sent on this mission. Emma's also in charge of part of the mission, but Emma knows about the sabotage, and Kira's like, why did you not? Because basically Qi'ra finds out that there's something wrong with the mission, goes to tell Emma about it, and Emma's like, oh yeah, we knew. And then she's like,
Emma gets in the way, and Kira's like, no, Proxima needs to know. And Emma's like, no, she doesn't. This is the one time where Kira just fucking decks her.
Deservedly.
I'm like, thank God.
Yeah. And then Proxima's like, nah, you're good. Bye.
Meanwhile, Emma's outside like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
And that's also
There's a lot of like other people who are like, I'm gonna fucking kill this.
Which that's also when Qi'ra figures out the reality of like that this is meant, the crew is meant to die. Yeah, this is a cleansing, and she is supposed to, like, if she is not meant to get out of this alive.
Basically, two of the scouts that they have out for the White Worms come back, and they're like, hey, there's like
double the stormtroopers we were told.
amount of stormtroopers there was supposed to be. Should we be concerned about that? And Kira's like, I'll go tell Proxima. And then of course,
and this is like after Proxima's already sold Qi'ra off.
Yeah.
So Proxima sold Qi'ra off to a slaver.
Yep.
And basically they were like, but the slaver wants you to do a job real quick, and then after that,
and then you're good.
Or rather, Crimson Dawn wants you to do a job.
Awake the dawn.
And so, like, because there's a high, even with Proxima being the big fish in Corellia,
she's not a particularly powerful galactic player.
Yeah. And so everybody has to serve a higher power.
Yep.
And in the case of Proxima, it's the Dawn.
Yep.
And so...
But everyone... I was gonna say
almost everyone serves the Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
Almost everyone. I'd say probably the exceptions are the Hutts.
Yeah.
And even then, by the time... We see that there are moments where even the Hutts have to bow to the Dawn. Willingly or not.
Because, like, while there are other, like, syndicates and gangs and cartels and such in Star Wars, Crimson Dawn isn't necessarily the most numerous, but it makes up for that in having what I would consider the most competent amount of people in it.
It's very competent. It also has the underlying threat of who's in charge of it.
Yeah. And nobody really knows.
Yeah, and if you do find out, you're probably dead.
Probably fucking dead.
Like, and there's rumors, like, people are like, oh, there's a powerful being behind, like, people think Voss, some people argue it's Voss that's in charge, because they just don't know there's a higher guy.
Yeah.
And the people who do know there's a higher guy are
not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
I fucking wouldn't.
That's how you know, though, that your operation's working.
Yeah.
I think it's also a smart play for, fuck it, let's say Maul.
Yeah.
Maul. It's a smart play for Maul that he has that kind of leverage where nobody really knows he exists, and then the people who do are going to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah. I remember...
It's why Palpatine doesn't bother him during the
Yeah.
original trilogy, like during that era of time. It's not the original trilogy era, but that
Yeah.
gap time, because Palpatine only bothers the Empire only bothers Maul once Maul gets in the way of Palpatine's plans.
Yep.
With rebels, and up until then, they didn't care.
Yeah. 'Cause why would they?
Because we see this in the comics. Palpatine views the criminal cartels as a necessity.
Yeah.
They are a way to keep chaos.
We need them out there doing bad things so we look good.
Well, not only that, it's a way to do chaotic things, but with a set of rules still. Like there's still an order to it, because every criminal cartel has rules. They have a way of doing things. It is chaotic to outsiders, but when you're on the inside, there's an order and structure to it. It's not anarchy. And Palpatine understands this and knows that we can do the underhanded stuff through them that we can't publicly do. So like any of the drug stuff that we need to have done, we make the cartels do it.
Yep.
Or we don't, or we let them do it, and then we take our cut of it afterwards. That's why, like, Jabba works with the Empire all the time, because Palpatine understands the necessity of it. Vader kind of understands the necessity of it, but really doesn't. Like, if Vader had his way, they'd all be gone.
Yeah.
But Palpatine understands the necessity of it for his plans to work. Is that a good thing? Probably not.
Oh, no.
It's probably not great that he lets the cartels pretty much do whatever, as long as they don't interfere with the Empire directly. And that's usually the only time we see the Empire really put the law down, is if...
This is cartel business. They're like, this is also Imperial business. You want to do this or what?
Yeah. And then, like, we know that they do underhanded deals, which was why when they introduced Sarah Verde, at first I was like, oh, an Imperial officer who's in on it. That makes sense. But then we learned that it's actually a Crimson Dawn agent that's under... But we learn in the comics that there are Crimson Dawn agents that are in the Empire and are in the...
Yeah.
So, like, that still, like, fits what I would understand of things. So, like, because we do have moments where they cut deals and you have people that are part of organizations that are part of the criminal cartels at the same time. It makes sense, because otherwise these cartels would not work. And so Qi'ra finds out the truth about this. Manages to steal the things that she was not supposed to be able to steal right out of Sarah Verte's hands.
Yep. And boy, oh boy.
And so she impresses everybody, because
impresses everybody.
Proxima's kind of pissed, though.
Proxima's pissed. Sarah Verte, while pissed, is also impressed. She's like,
yeah, she's like, good job, kid, essentially.
good job, but fuck you. You fucked it all up.
And then the Dawn is impressed, and the only one not really impressed is her new master, the slave guy, because he doesn't care about that stuff.
Yep.
He's like, I just want my property.
Basically.
And after that, she gets sent to that guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
I forget his name.
I do too.
But yeah.
I'm like, fucking, you asshole, the whole, like, hold this tray thing.
And so this is the closest we get to the stuff that Solo hinted at of the, like, the underlying belly of the slave market, which is obviously sexual in nature.
Yeah.
We don't ever see anything like that, because it's still
for Liam Neeson, but he's already been...
Yeah. Because it's still a young adult novel, so we do not get into the dirt, like, it doesn't go that far. But it's implied. And that's where I'm both kind of glad it's a young adult novel, but also not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like an adult novel could really have gone into that stuff in a healthy way. Because I think there is a way to talk about these things, because they're also real world issues. I feel like there's a way to talk about these things in a way that narratively is good, but also doesn't feel cheap.
I think it's also
Because that's the other concern.
the problem
Because the
I
other
have-
concern is that it could feel cheap.
Yeah. What I was going to say is because it is a like Star Wars story.
I think that's why they're trying to steer away.
Which is also why, like I was talking about earlier, I like Qi'ra as a protagonist. It's just that because she's in this setting, I think the story kind of...
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood what you meant by setting, but yeah, so Star Wars.
Yeah. That, and I also don't, like, I am someone who could not do the, like, crime politicking very well, because it just pisses me off.
Oh
The
no,
amount of time.
I've seen how you played my games. I know. Because we have crime politicking all the time in my games.
And how has that been going?
Your characters are usually, let me just bash my way through that.
Yeah. I love the joke of, like, don't piss off Boone or insert other character name. Why? Because they're not going to fucking talk with you. They're just going to kill you.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, I get it now what you're saying.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably a part of it. Although, Star Wars can do dark.
It can.
Because, I mean, we've got the Bane trilogy, we've got Red Harvest, we got Death Troopers. While all those are Legends books, canon can also do it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think you can't... like I said, there has to be a healthy balance to how you have
Yeah.
these discussions. You can't George R. Martin it.
Yeah.
While I think Martin is a great author, he very much, I feel like for the sexual stuff, just doesn't do the nuance of it most of the time. And so I feel like sometimes the nuance is missing with those type of scenes. For him.
However, in his defense,
I
am a fan of Berserk, so I have seen a lot worse things happen to people.
But also, once again, even in like Berserk, there's nuance.
There are moments, yeah.
It's not. There's
not always.
It's not just shock value. There's definitely shock value to it, but it's not being done for shock value.
Yeah, there's a point.
And so I think that's where we have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
And I think making it a young adult novel makes that problem not a problem. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't even have to think
have
about
to.
that.
You can imply things, but you don't have to say them.
Yeah. And so, so we see that this guy basically tortures her by making her wear skimpy outfits, having to stand up for hours for no reason just because he feels like it, just to show her off to his guest. He basically does the king thing where he has guests come in to ask him favors, and so
for me, it's just the fucking tray thing that pisses me off.
Makes her hold the tray,
Yeah, for like hours.
And so he basically just does all this stuff to piss her off, and he's trying to break her.
Yeah.
That's not even implied. They say that's the point of him doing that, is house training her essentially. Yeah. And
that shit,
which is fucked.
Didn't work.
It didn't work because Qi'ra has a slightly stronger will than that.
Yeah. Dryden Voss was his version of breaking it is like, nah, you just get to stay in your room.
He's also more of an emotionally abusive.
Yeah.
In this book anyways, although once again I feel like Solo implies that he's more than emotionally abusive, but
up until the point where Qi'ra just fucking kills a guy.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually Dryden Voss essentially comes into this guy's place, or no, he sends a representative to come in, and basically the Dawn's like, hey, we want her, she's impressive, you're worth nothing.
It's Sarah Verde that shows up.
Yeah, Sarah Verde, who is like, yeah, we need her, fuck you, give us. And once again, the pole of important, like the pyramid of where you are in importance to the crime cartels.
Yep.
He is low. He is very low.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay.
At the moment, the current order is Maul, Dryden Voss. Sarah Verde is one of Dryden Voss's.
Well, I'm talking about like
underlings.
organization. So like it would be Dawn. Maybe like the Hutt's like next to them almost.
Yeah.
Maybe just slightly under, but then like everybody else under that.
Yeah.
Like Pikes and all of them are way under. Pikes are probably like only directly under like the Hutt's and Dawn, because the Pikes are up there.
Man, the Pikes get it fucking bad in every piece of media.
Even though they're like one of the most powerful cartels, like they're in that triumvirate of like.
My thing is, I'm like, the Pikes are only strong because there's so fucking many of them.
Well, they also have like the drugs.
Yeah.
They're the ones that usually
Those
are the
their
drugs.
two things. They've got drugs and people.
Yeah. The drugs and man hours.
Yeah. Other than that, though, that's about it.
So, I mean, but yeah, so Voss brings her in. And basically the rest of the story is, and that's the end of part 2 essentially, and then part 3 is essentially it's almost a 4-part, because I'd say the Crimson Dawn stuff also gets split up into 2 parts, because it's the Qi'ra getting adjusted. Yeah, it's the Thorum arc, and then it's the post Thorum arc, and like Qi'ra kind of rising to power within. Yeah. And so Thorum is basically her
Kira's climb.
Yeah.
Is part 4, as you would think.
Yeah.
For me, it's basically Corellia. I consider like the part where she's basically in transition to Thorum as part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's basically Corellia, Thorum, and then parties and Qi'ra making her way up to the top.
Yeah. And so with the Thorum arc, we kind of get an exploration of like Qi'ra as a character having to adjust to working with a team.
Working with a team, and also like, what do you mean I have free time?
Yeah, because
and money. What is this?
Yeah, basically she's now spoiled with freedom, but on a
freedom in quotes.
In quotes, yeah, because she is still very much working for a group that still have a tight leash. They just have a leash that it's basically like, you know how you have those leashes that you have the button where you can basically let them go pretty far, but then if you hold the button down, it stops them. That's basically how Crimson Dawn is. They give you that false sense of freedom where you can go as far as you want until they hit the button. And
you're free to leave. Go ahead.
Whereas I would argue like Proxima's gang is they just have like a chain. They don't even have an actual leash. They just have a chain.
Yep.
And
that reminds me. Have you seen the picture of the kid with the like pit bull, but the pit bull is just like sitting there?
But yeah, so I mean, it's basically that situation, I think. So now that she's gotten a taste for freedom, she's like, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, I'm so, and like we see the adjustment period of her going, I think it's also why she's so smart.
Yeah.
And why she rises to the ranks pretty well is it's one of those things of somebody who comes from nothing who now has everything, but they know how to save money and all that. It's that situation where she's like, she knows how the lower parts of the gangs work, so she knows how to like treat people that she comes across as she rises up to the rank. And it's also why it's why she starts to politic well, because she understands how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because she knows where people come from. She's like, I get that. And so.
Oh, I thought for the longest time, what, Trinity?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is up with this girl?
That's another character that we've seen before, though. She's one of the ones that's like one of her sides and later in the comics. Yeah.
I thought I had forgotten that, so I was like, alright, when are you gonna, like, fuck us over?
Oh yeah, because the book doesn't, like, if you have no knowledge of some of these characters, it implies that Trini is like setting her up.
Yeah, she's not.
Like, I think though the thing that the book is trying to actually imply is that even the people that we trust for the most part, in a group like Crimson Dawn, you cannot 100% trust. You can give maybe 75% trust, but you should always be watching your back. And while they may not betray you now,
they might in the future.
So,
like Coriana.
Yeah, like Coriana, who tries to poison Voss.
And they're like, you know, you were this close. You would have got away with it too, if it wasn't.
If you were smarter.
If it wasn't for you, then you're fucking.
But no, because Qi'ra, like,
she's like,
Kira's like, you should have got away with this.
She's like,
you absolutely, this should have happened. Like, this should have gone through, but you were dumb.
Yeah, she's like, you just picked the worst time to do it, and if you hadn't done it right now, you'd have succeeded.
Yeah, Coriana got impatient, and so she tried to rush it, and Kira's like, if I were you, I would have waited a little longer. It would have happened, because it was one of those things where 100% it should have happened.
Yeah.
Like
where it's like, if you hadn't panicked about it, you'd have had it.
Because this is after a mission went upside down. And so Coriana, like this, so this is after the Qi'ra getting adjusted to this stuff. This is part 4.
Yeah, this is part 4 or part 3 for me because of how I separate things.
So yeah, so this is basically that section where she's climbing up the ranks, and so this is where we really start to see people start to do the betrayals. The last part, we don't really see it. We start to see the hints of what's to come with betrayals. Like, we see Sarah Verte starting to dislike Qi'ra as they... And it's like, for Qi'ra, it's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I thought we were cool. I understand that I took something from you, but I thought I impressed y'all. And Sarah Verte's like, you did, but you also made it to where I went down in rank.
Yeah.
And then, like, because Qi'ra keeps being the cool kid...
Good job. Fuck you.
Because Qi'ra keeps doing so well and becoming the cool kid, like, nobody likes Sarah anymore, and she's like, no! I'm supposed to be the cool kid.
Yeah.
And she even tries to straight up kill her, like, in, like, what, the changing rooms or whatever?
Yeah, basically. She caught her in the hallway.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, in the hallway, and she's just like, I'm gonna kill you, and then somebody else comes around the corner, and she's like,
it's not that. It's
or something happened.
It's basically like she jumps Qi'ra in the hallway after Kira's basically been training with Voss, and she's like, Qi'ra says some shit to her, which is basically like, oh, even if you kill me, it's not gonna get you anything.
Which this is during
they're looking for
a mole. Yeah, they're looking for an informant and this is Qi'ra trying to bait her.
Yeah.
And to basically not admitting it, but like getting close to admitting it. And we do eventually get the information. It's not entirely the way we thought. Like, Sarah is involved, but not in the way we thought.
Yep.
Like, she is not the informant, but she is helping the informant.
Yeah. Which I believe was Coriana.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Coriana gets caught first, and then so now they're like, Voss is like, yeah, the rest of Crimson Dawn is happy with Coriana just being the one we put the blame on. But if you want to find out if Sarah's involved, feel free.
Yeah.
But if you're wrong...
Basically, you have a time limit.
Yeah, if you're wrong, you'll die, and then if you don't give us a happy answer by then, you'll die.
Yeah. And so, like, the worst part about it is, like...
The worst part is Voss knows she's right.
Voss knows she's right, but he's like, until you can prove it, don't do anything. Also, the fact that, like, Voss kills Coriana while he's in mid-Skype call. He's like, anyhow, here's what we do to infiltrators in our group.
Yeah, he does not waste time.
So I understand you're all in shock, but this is how you do it.
Yeah, because this is...
It's one of
because basically he's having a call
Yeah.
to figure out who the informant is, and basically like this is when the mission gets given to Qi'ra to like you got to find this person. You got so many time. It's the cop thing of you have a deadline to catch this criminal. Like if you ever seen like a buddy cop film, it's that where they have a deadline, even though realistically you have as much time until you capture the guy, especially if you know who it is.
Well, we'd prefer if you caught them sooner.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, he's on the call, and at the time, like, nobody knows except for him and Qi'ra. And basically, they bring Coriana in, and he's like, and this is also a show of force, because at the time, the other gangs, because this is with the other gangs, the non-Crimson Dawn groups that are, like, under Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
And they're, like, questioning Crimson Dawn's authority. If they can't handle an informant in the house, how can they help them? And Dryden's like, oh, we've got this. See? And then nobody asks questions after that.
All right, we're good.
We do learn, though, that one of the people on the call was also in on this stuff. Yeah. Because that's the reason, like, Dryden was like, I gotta do a show of force, because I know one of them is involved.
Yep.
I forget the name of which group it was, but yeah. It was somebody that was, like, owing them money, and so... But yeah, eventually, Qi'ra goes on a mission with Sarah, along with her old crew from Part 2 for you.
Yeah.
And so, basically, they are like... They're also mad because not only did Coriana... It wasn't just Coriana that got killed. It was also one of the people from that crew.
Yeah.
Because Kira's like, well... Because she's given the timer already. She's already had the timer beforehand.
Yeah.
And she's like, shit, I don't have enough evidence to prove that it's Sarah. I gotta prove it's somebody before this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I gonna shift blame to?
Yeah.
And she gets the help from Trinia, I believe, to frame this Rhodian who doesn't speak basic. He just speaks Huttese. And basically, she manages to fake the computer systems into showing that he hacked the systems and was the one that like sent out the calls.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they fake the internet history.
Yep.
And the call logs. They fake the call logs, and they make it to look like that it's from his computers and stuff. And so, with that, that's enough evidence for him to kill them, which, unfortunately for Qi'ra, makes it to where there's a lot of hostile, like, feelings between, like, half of the crew from the old crew. Because half of that crew is like, we liked him, why the fuck would you blame him? And then the other half is like, we don't know if he did it, so I guess we can trust Qi'ra on this.
Yeah.
And so,
fucking Indiana Jones ass temple.
yeah, so they go to a Jedi temple where they find some, like, where they're looking for an artifact.
Yep.
Because, of course they are, because Maul wants Force artifacts, because while he runs a criminal operation, he still wants some Force stuff, which is what gets his ass in trouble in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Shouldn't have been looking for artifacts, Maul.
Just keep to your criminal stuff. You would have been fine.
Been fine, but you chose this life, huh?
And so, with that, they go through it. They leave the pilot in the ship, but then they also have a lookout outside the temple. And then some people die in the temple from booby traps.
By the end, this crew starts out at like
6-man strong, give or
it's
take.
a little bit more than that, I think.
Might be 7.
I think it's 9. By the time they get done, they're like leaving out with 3.
Yeah. And then when they leave, immediately all the betrayals happen.
Yeah.
By the end, it's Qi'ra and one other person.
Yeah.
Because, like, it turns out the person they left on watch... Well, they left 2 people on watch. But one of them is already dead, because it turns out the other one liked the Rhodian and was like, fuck this shit. And I'm gonna kill them when they get out of there. Also, Sarah, of course, obviously betrays them. Dies. I think she gets squashed. She gets crushed in one of the traps.
The classic, the ceiling is gonna lower.
So, and apparently, like, the one that was on watch was working with Sarah at that point, was like, because Sarah basically was feeding them, hey, fuck Qi'ra, this is her fault that everything's going bad for us. And he was going for it. He was all about that, and that did not go well for him, because then Qi'ra kills him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Qi'ra comes back with the artifact.
Dragon's like, hey, want to meet the boss?
Yeah, because that's impressive. And the boss wants to meet you. He's heard about you.
Yeah.
And so this kind of...
And Kira's like, do I have to? And he's like, yeah.
If you want to live.
You want to stay alive?
Nobody says no to meeting the boss.
What, you thought this was optional?
And so we leave at a little cliffhanger of her just exiting the ramp to see Maul. I don't think they, if I remember correctly, they cut off before actually saying that it's Maul, but it's implied. And so, if you know the story of the Crimson Dawn, you know that it's Maul.
Yeah.
And so, I thought that was a great way to end it. It makes a fun little... And it also sets up the idea of... It sets off why she's able to call Maul after the events of Solo. Because she calls Maul at the end of the movie, and, like, how would she know who to call unless she's met him before?
Yeah.
And so, I kind of like that. I think the one thing that everybody wanted for this book to be, that it wasn't. The book is fine as is. It serves its purpose. It's a fine book. It could have been better. the stuff that people, I think the part that people are interested in with Qi'ra's life is something we still haven't gone over, which is her training with Maul.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Maul basically take her on as his student, because we know it happens, because Solo ends with that, and then also we know that it happens because the comics later on down the line are like, hey, she learned how to fight under Maul, and like we know that there's a reason that she's able to take over Crimson Dawn from him. Even before his death, because he's not really hanging around with Crimson Dawn and Rebels. He doesn't have the power of the Dawn behind him when he's acting like an old man with a walking stick stuck on Malachor. If that was true, he would have just called for a ship to get him off Malachor, because he was trapped on Malachor.
I got my old man sticks and well, that's about it. I got no money.
No problems.
I got no money, no problems. Except for I'm stuck on this fucking planet.
So, like...
He's gone crazy again.
I think that's the story we all want to see.
For the third time.
I think that's the story we all want to see. And I don't know if we're going to get it. At this rate.
We might not.
But, that's everything. I'd give this a strong 7.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose. It's not terrible, but it doesn't exceed what it could be. So it doesn't surpass anything like in storytelling. It's a strong passing grade.
Yeah, C+.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You were just thinking. You were in. It's all good. So that's gonna be it for this week. Next week, I believe, let me double check. Yes, we go back to the short story world.
Chronicles from the
Occlusion Zone, friend or foe? Because we got to find out what happened to the Adrians. So,
please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay.
So yeah, because they got busted by the Nihil last time. So we got to find out what happens to them. So that's what we're gonna read next week. And then after that, the week after that, we'll have a double feature of some comics. So thank you all for watching. I've been your host, Caleb. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. You can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley. Surprise, usually you jump in there. There you go. Delayed. There you go.
Sorry, I went to bed at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we did stay up late. And then I guess you stayed up even later after that. Helping. You were probably helping Chris, though, for a lot of that.
Because I'll tell you what, man, trying to remember things in your head and relay them to another person so they can write them down. I was able to do it. We got everything done.
This is for our D&D game. He was helping a player finish up some character creation stuff.
It is easier for me to do that in person, but I was able to do it over the phone.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're on the phone, whereas if you were on the computer, you probably could have pulled up the book and share screened with it and done that. But yeah, but on our Patreon, you can watch our YouTube content before it's publicly available. So, for instance, you can watch our Grim Hollow game. I believe, actually, Session 3, so the first session that's going to be publicly available, because remember, Sessions 1 and 2, womp womp. Session, they got deleted from existence. Session 3, though, which is our first Grim Hollow episode, is actually going live tomorrow on the YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah.
So
I told my dad about it, and I was trying to explain like how things work to him, and he's like, "Send it to me, and maybe I'll understand it then."
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we also have the Patreon, so if you want to watch it before then, if you want to watch it today and catch up, because currently there are 3 episodes, and there's going to be a 4th one that's dropping today. So if you want to catch up and even get ahead, that's how you can do it. We're also going to have an Acquisitions Incorporated game tomorrow. So that's going to probably be up there the next Acquisitions game is going to be up there pretty soon as well. And all that is only $5 a month. Amazing, right? All that content.
Yeah.
One of the things we forgot to talk about that I did want to talk about at the top, we passed the 500 sub mark
Yeah, we did.
on YouTube, which is a big milestone for. So if you don't know, for YouTube, that's a big milestone. That is that is the first step to being able to monetize the channel. You have to have 500 subs, and then you have to have You have to have 3 videos per week, which we go beyond that. We do a video every day.
Because you are built different when it comes to video production.
I will say, for the most part, I almost do like you know how there's the lazy guide to DMing.
Mhm.
I'm the lazy guide to video production, where basically I try to do things in as few takes as possible when it comes to like the video game stuff that I do on the channel. The video game stuff, I pretty much hit record, play the game, and stop record. Unless there's like something that I think didn't work in the video, then I'll cut out some stuff. Like I had to do that with the Lego Star Wars video that I just posted to Patreon because I had some issues with the level. I found out I've been playing Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens wrong.
Oh.
So there are, for Lego Star Wars, this will be the last thing I talk about before we finish the outro. For Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, there are certain moments where you do cover shooting type things.
Yeah.
Because Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens introduced the cover mechanics, and then Skywalker Saga continued them a little bit, but not as much. But The Force Awakens one introduced it, and the part I was getting wrong.
Yeah.
There are certain parts where each character do like certain skills. So like Han can like scan and find like weak spots to things, and then Chewie can throw grenades at silver Lego pieces to make them explode, and people with guns can like pull like anchors towards them.
Yeah.
Usually they've been giving me 2 characters at a time in levels that have 3, and it happened twice. So in Takodana it happened, and at first I thought this is a bug, they should all 3 be with me, and I got frustrated until I managed to get all 3 with me, right? And I got all 3 of the characters with me, got past that zone. Same thing happened again, and I'm near the end of the game. It's on Starkiller Base. So it's Han, Chewie, and Finn. It's when they're sneaking around trying to find Rey, right? Or when they're trying to shut the shields down. So before they find Rey. So shutting shields down, find Rey. So there were parts where I was like, okay, well I need Finn and Han to pull this thing, but I have Han and Chewie can't do the pull. He can only do the explosion thing. And then I would restart it, and I would get Finn and Han. Well, now I can't blow things up. Or I get Finn and Chewie. Well, now I can't scan for weak spots. Turns out I've been playing the game wrong this whole time.
Okay. How so?
You can actually, if you hold the... So what I've been doing is I would keep switching characters and trying to... I would frustratingly be like, why can't I just have all 3?
Oh, it's a...
You hold it, and then if you hold it, then you get a wheel of all the characters that are with you. And then they can swap out. And then they can swap out who... Like, if you're playing as Chewie, I can hold it, switch it to Finn. Chewie leaves the frame, Finn comes in.
Good to know.
The problem is,
okay.
what makes it worse is I don't remember if the game taught me this, and I just haven't...
Forgot, or it never explained it.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I should be mad at the game or mad at me. Because I don't want to get mad at the game if it's not entirely the game's fault. Because no, and so I did do a rant, because originally I had a rant where I was so pissed off at the game, and I, in the last part that I recorded, I was so pissed off at the game, and then I found out, I decided, in between one of my attempts, I watched a video seeing how other people got past that part, because I looked up online, I was like, does anybody know about this bug, and I couldn't find anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, why is nobody talking about this bug? Because I thought it was a bug at the time. And then I watch a video of this guy playing, and I see the wheel come up, and I'm like, motherfucker. And so I paused the recording, because sometimes I'll pause the recording rather than stop it, so it's still on the same record file. And then I can just edit out what I need to. So I unpause it, pretty much almost restart the episode with the disclaimer of, hey, I messed up. And then I cut out the entire, rest of the stuff that was before that I had recorded already. I cut out the rant. I was like, I'm not posting with me ranting just to get... Because now y'all know I did anyways, but, I didn't want to present such a false presentation of the game
Yeah.
that way, where I make the game look bad when it's not the game. It's me playing it wrong. And so those are the times where I will edit. And so yeah, and then I played like an extra couple levels because I was like, I owe you guys, like, because since we were behind a level of what I wanted to be anyways, I was like, we'll play an extra level.
All right.
And so yeah, so that's how I kind of record things. And so yeah, I do a video every day. If it's not a video, then I do like a stream. So like usually Mondays have been our streaming days, and then Saturday is podcast day. So, but Monday, actually, we're gonna play some Grand Theft Auto, going back to London 1969, where I have been called terrible at the game, which I will admit, yes, they are correct. But I'm getting the points I need to continue still by rampaging, so I think it works.
Welcome to London, bro.
So I think it works out. So with all that, you can also find me at Escape Reality 94 on Twitter, and at Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Caleb.Lockwood. And speaking, I guess, going back to D&D, what's going on with...
All right, so, Sunday game.
Yeah, Sunday game.
Me and Qi'ra have decided this old lady guarding this carriage has to go.
Old lady's got to go.
Old lady's got to go. And you can catch us dealing also. Lex, John, and Steven are about to have a raid on an underground demon cult.
Interesting.
Nick and Sarah are somewhere in the city trying to avoid a rampaging thunder god. They escaped, but that doesn't mean the city has.
Yeah, you shouldn't make Thor mad.
Yeah. He's always mad, though.
Especially if Loki's involved.
Especially if Loki's. And you can catch us try to resolve that every...
On Sundays.
On Sundays. From 5 to 7 Central Standard Time. On YouTube. At the Steam Dungeon. At the Trials of Nebu.
Yeah, Trials of Nebu is the name of the videos of the series.
I think we're on... I was going to say Season 1. Which is technically true. I think we're on episode 20-ish.
Okay.
Might be 21.
So, hopefully during the break, because y'all did take a break for a while for holidays. So hopefully those of y'all who got a chance to catch up, then the game's back. Let's go. And so, once again, Sundays, 5 to 7 Central Standard Time at Steam Dungeon on YouTube. And that's everything I can think of. And I think that's everything you can think of that we need to talk about. So, we'll see you all next week. Once again, we will be talking about Chronicles from the Occlusion Zone, Friend or Foe. Short story from Star Wars Insider, so if you want to keep up with us and read along with us, that's what we're reading this week. And we'll see you all next week. I've spoken.
Y'all have a good one. Be safe.